Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. This is Kathy, and today I'll be creating a card using the Giraffe Smiles stamp set, the wonky stitched rectangle dies, and the Licorice paper pack from Whimsy Stamps. I started out by stamping my giraffe onto a piece of Cougar Super Smooth cardstock using my favorite things, Extreme Black Hybrid ink. When I was thinking about this card, I thought about a dear friend of mine who loves all things pink, and she loves giraffes. So I thought I would create a card with a pink giraffe. So I colored in the nose of the giraffe using RV00, and then I came in with RV34 and added in the shadows on the sides of his face, underneath his chin, down his neck, and on his back. I also added shadows where his legs are tucked in and along the bottom side of his belly. Next, I came in with R83 and blended out the RV34 just a little bit. I made sure to leave a little bit of white space on his face and also his body right underneath the spots so that I could maintain a nice highlight. I filled in the rest of the space and blended all the colors together with RV11. When I was choosing colors for the giraffe, I tend to get stuck with the pink markers because I have a hard time blending them, especially some of the brighter RV markers. One thing that has really helped me in choosing marker colors when I'm coloring an image is the hex chart from Sandy Allnock. She has the markers arranged on the hex chart that makes it really easy to choose colors that will blend nicely together. I'll be sure to link to it in the description box below if you haven't seen her hex chart. I encourage you to check it out because it's been very helpful for me. Moving right along and getting back to the coloring, for his antlers and his spots I used N6 and W5. For his antlers, I concentrated the shading to be on the left-hand side because of how his little head is tilted. And for his spots, I pretty much filled in the spots down alongside his back and underneath his chin completely with the N6. For the rest of the spots, I did leave a little bit of space so that I could fill that in with the W5. In hindsight, I realized that I could have just used one color for his spots. For his hooves, because they are touching each other, I did do a highlight kind of in between the two with the W5 just so that there would be separation. Once I was done with the coloring, I set that aside and started to work on the bits and pieces for the front of my card. I used 2 of the wonky stitched rectangle dies and used Scotch removable tape to hold them in place and run them through my die cut machine so that they would create a frame. I figured while I'm at it, I might as well stamp the sentiment, so I did that on a piece of Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. The frame was also cut from Neenah 80-pound Classic Crest cardstock. Once I had the sentiment die cut and the frame die cut, I ran the largest of the 2 rectangle dies through my Gemini Junior with a piece of vellum, and I wanted to have my sentiment sandwiched between the frame and the vellum piece, so I used a little bit of my AdTech tape runner just to hold that in place so that I could then position the white frame on top of the piece of vellum. I adhered the white frame to the vellum using my AdTech tape runner, and I didn't get it lined up perfectly straight. There was a little bit of vellum hanging out, so I just used my scissors to trim that off. I die cut some flowers using the Spring Build a Scene die set, also from Whimsy, and I had cut them from Neenah 80-pound Classic Crest cardstock. I colored the centers of the flowers with RV34, and then I added just a little bit of color using a variety of gray markers on the flowers, and then decided to add a little bit of shimmer using my Wink of Stella glitter gel pen. Next, I started to put my card pieces together. I cut a piece of black cardstock slightly smaller than the front of my card base, which is a standard A2 size top folding note card. I cut a piece of patterned paper from the Licorice paper pad down to 4 by 5 1/4 and adhered that on top of the black cardstock. Next, it was time to arrange all the things onto the frame with the vellum that I had created. The leaves that you see here, they are also from the Giraffe Smiles stamp set. I'm not sure what happened to the footage of me coloring the leaves, but when I went to go edit the video, I couldn't find it. So I don't know if I forgot to turn the camera on or if the gremlins attacked again. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll make sure to have all of the colors that I did use listed in the description below, along with all of the supplies that I used. Anyway, I adhered everything to the front of the frame using my liquid glue, and off screen I had put foam tape on the back side of the frame, and once I had all of the little bits and pieces in place on the frame, I removed the release paper and attached that to the front of my card. And that's it. That finishes my card for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.